Welcome back to the Lickin the Dirt podcast. We are here with Sam Priest for episode 30. This is our first solo female interview. The first time we had Riley Booher on, so that doesn't really count. But we're very happy to have you on, Sam. I'm excited because I think you're one of the first drivers that we've had on. Maybe, I don't know, first, but you're pulling double duty this year in 2 sprint car divisions. So I don't know how many drivers we've had on that have done that. So we're definitely excited to talk about that. But yeah, episode 30, Chase and I were talking about it before we kind of got on here. It's a little bit crazy that we're already on episode 30. We're coming very close on 100 subscribers. Big milestone. So we're really excited about that. We're probably going to have a party. So we'll be sending invites out to everybody. Venues undecided. But with that being said, Chase, why don't you get us started this time with the first question?
Usually we go into like more history wise, but Jake mentioned about pulling double duty. I think we should jump right into that. So it's basically, I think everybody knows now that Sam, you're jumping into the 305 this year. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we built the car, obviously, and it was going to be one of my spare cars for the Rush division. And then we had my dad's motor from when he drove the 41 Ed's car, the 305. And I asked Dad if I could hop in a wing car, and he said we can give it a try. And I practiced once this year at Sharon already.
So already, because you've had the practice in it, obviously you haven't had a ton of seat time in the 305 yet. How much, I'm assuming, I pretty much know the answer to this question, but is it surprising how much different it is, or is it not as different as you would have thought?
Well, I practiced in the 305 before I practiced in the Rush car. And when I did get back in the Rush car, I forgot how to drive it. But it's a lot different. It's like in the 305, you kind of have that wing support, the aerodynamics to hold you down, and you're not. It's a lot more like stable, I guess. Like in the wingless car, you're very like your elbows up like on the wheel constantly, but in the wing car, you kind of have like that to keep the wing to keep you down.
Right. I'll backtrack because, oh, wait, go ahead.
Okay. You want me to go? You go.
Yeah, go, because I'm going to go backwards.
Okay. So you're going to run both 305 and Rush car this year, I would imagine. So what's kind of the plan for the year? Are you going to focus on the Rush car and kind of just pick and choose when you're in the 305, or what's that going to look like?
So my end goal is obviously a 410 wing sprint car. So I'm going to try and get as much seat time as I can in the 305. Like this weekend, there's a race at PPMS in my Rush car and a race at Mercer in my 305. And I'm going to try to go to the race at Mercer because I'm trying to get as much seat time as I can.
Yeah, that's cool. That I haven't even been to Sharon yet, so I think that's super cool. You get to test there. Like I told Chase, I'm gonna step backwards. I like to start kind of with the same questions every single time that I do one of these. But we know that your dad was into racing, but is he kind of the reason you got into racing, or how did you get into racing?
Well, when I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, actually it's probably like more like 10 years ago now, my dad took me to a go-kart track at Slippery Rock, and I did not have any fun at all. I told him I hated it, I don't ever want to do this, and I wanted to be a professional cheerleader. And then a couple years after that, I think I was 11 or 12, and a family friend, Kylan Fleming, was practicing at Slippery Rock, and my dad was like, "Do you want to try our car?" And I was like, "I mean, I guess. So I guess I'll try it." And we had to put like blankets and pillows in the seat just to like get me to um fit in it.
Yeah.
And I was not fast at all. Like my dad could be at a walking pace beside me while I was going down the front stretch. Like it was a pretty rough start, but they asked me and he was like, "Do you want to do this?" And I told him yeah, but like I honestly was like, I don't really know. Because like at the time I still wanted to fulfill my dreams of being a cheerleader, but I also wanted to like try this out. And I told him yeah, and I started racing my first year go-karts in 2022. That was why my original number was 22. And after that, I fell in love with it. I quit cheering.
That was going to be one of my questions though too, is like, what was the ultimate decider that kind of pulled you away from the cheerleading and got you into the racing? But yeah, that's
I still do like basketball and wrestling cheer for high school, but I struggled with football. I tried to try out for football this year, but I would only make 3 of the games.
So yeah.
You kind of touched on the go-kart there. You were only in the go-kart for a couple of years. Do you ever miss it now that you're in the sprint car?
I definitely we tried to do double duty last year with the go-kart, like, we had it lettered and everything, we took through a couple car shifts, and we attempted, but, like, it's just, like, running 2 classes alone in a go-kart is a lot of work, and, like, I just wasn't very, like I didn't know that much about it, enough to help my dad out, and, like, I knew enough, but not enough for him to trust me to work on it while he's at work, but, we it just didn't work out, and my last year of go-karts, we weren't even ready to move into car, like, I kinda miss it, but, like, at the same time, I think now if I go back I miss the winning, I'm gonna be honest, like, I if I now I don't think I'd have any fun.
Yeah. I got out of it I actually got out of it last year once I moved up into the pro stocks, but I tried to run the pro stock with the go-kart and it wasn't even an option. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
dedicate as much time because I feel like it's not I don't think as widely known, but you have to like put a ton of time, almost just as much as you'd have to put into a regular car to keep up
Mhm.
with the little nuances of a go-kart to be competitive in some of the divisions. And it was just, I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
gonna happen. But I miss it so much now. I'm like begging all the time, like somebody just to let me run a kart race one more time. And I would I'd scratch the itch for a little bit, but I know I miss all the time. I had a great
Like,
time with
my last year in go-karts, it was kinda like I think I ran 2 yeah, I ran 2 classes, and I ran a Predator and a Clone class, and my Predator class won my mother sucks, so I wasn't any good.
it.
And my class, there was only 2 of us.
Mm.
So, it was like a back and forth battle each week of who's gonna win this week, me or Lily.
Yeah. I actually have a question oriented around that as well. The go-karts, would you say that any of the stuff that you learned driving go-karts, has it transferred at all into the cars you race now? Have you picked up on anything that is reliable?
I mean, like, obviously, like, learning, like, what the flags mean, different just, like, track rules and stuff, like, I learned that, but I also picked that up from, like, my dad being around the race so much because my dad. I really, like it got me, more into racing, but, like, the actual, like, driving aspect, I honestly don't think I took anything out of there, like, especially with an open wheeled car, like, I don't think counter steering, I thought I was gonna take a little bit of that out, but it's go-kart is nothing like a sprint car at all.
Right. It's really cool because we've had people on like Ben Easler. We had him on, he told us that racing the Rush Sportsman modified division that the go-karts were actually helped them a lot in that division. So it's really interesting to kind of talk to people that are in different divisions, how the go-kart racing and how that experience has maybe played into how their careers started. I
Mhm.
agree with the fact that I think regardless the seat time in go-karts gives you like a little bit of racing maturity before you start racing. In the bigger classes, it's easier to adapt to rather than just starting out of the blue. But yeah, I don't think a lot of the stuff with go-karts transferred over to pro stock division at all
Yeah.
really. I think it's only a select few cases as far as the driving goes. But yeah, kind of like how you mentioned some of the core things like the flags and stuff like that. All the stuff that
Mhm.
you pick up learning, all that stuff does transfer. So I definitely agree. Chase, you next.
Okay. So, Sam, you're only a couple years into your driving career. Has there been a moment or like, yeah, I guess just a moment that you feel like you belong in racing or you belong in the big car yet in your career?
Not there's been, like, a few times, like, I really haven't had, like, that moment, like, wow, like but, like, it's just I really think it's just, like I've had a lot of especially being a woman, like, I've had a lot of little girls come up to me and, like, just tell me that, like, they didn't think they could do this because of, like, being a woman, like, I was at a car show this past weekend at the pub, and I had a girl come up to me and tell me that I'm the reason why she started racing go-karts. Like, being a female showed her that she could also do that. Like, just, like, sitting back and looking on that, like, I just haven't wrapped my head around about, like, how many little girls and, like, I've, like, shown that it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, do you feel like there's more pressure on you being a woman in racing and in motorsports?
Kind of, I feel like it's not a pressure and, like, a I'm expected to do well, it is pressure and I'm expected to suck, and then I have to, like because I'm a woman, like, I'm expected to be in the back of the pack every week, like, constant. I'm not saying, like, I'm the Kyle Larson of sprint car racing. I I feel like I'm just expected to not be. at the level I am.
Another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, this is somewhat on that note, but so far in your career, we talked about, a moment where you felt like you belonged, but in your karting career and your big car career so far, what has been your favorite memory?
My favorite memory. That's a hard one. It's honestly, I just love meeting the fans. Like at every fan interaction I have, I really like. I honestly enjoy that a lot. Like I don't think I can pick one out of all of them that I've really sat back and be like, wow, that's my favorite. Like it's just like just seeing like the kids and like not even the kids, like this like the people who come up to me and ask me for a shirt, like ask me for my autograph. Like I love interacting with the fans.
Yeah. Chase, okay, actually, I want to go back on this real quick. I have like a bunch of weird questions, so I want to ask this one before we get too far away from it, and then I start asking different stuff. So we talked about at the start of the show how, you've had laps now in the 305 and the rush sprint. Which one would you say, just based on I guess, the little time that you've had in the 305, do you have a favorite yet? Do you like the 305 more than the rush car?
I like 305 because it's a lot faster. It has about 100 horsepower more than my rush car. I like that a lot just because of the speed.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Chase. I don't. Yeah, my stuff's gonna get weird.
If you weren't in a sprint car, is there another class that you think you would drive, or you think you would have just stuck in karts for a while?
I guess I knew I wanted to get out of carts. Like it was getting pretty boring. My last race, like I said, like it was just literally two of us every single week. And like my last year of go karts, I think I only placed in the top 320, and they were at like two big money races. And then after that, it was just constant like repetitive. I thought about the modify a little bit, and then my dad told me it wasn't any fun. And then think I don't think I've ever like watched anything else other than sprint cars. Like my dad's been racing sprint cars since he was I don't even know. Like he just turned 60 at the beginning of the month, so it's been a long time. And I mean, he was also in modifieds. He started racing modifieds at 16. He told me it wasn't any fun, so I was like, okay, going against my better judgment. But
Have you ever tried any sim racing, like iRacing or anything like that?
I have a really really nice iRacing sim in my room,
No kidding.
and 3 monitors around the thing. Like it's really nice. I have a Fanatec wheel, and I am just absolutely terrible at it. Terrible. Like there's been some points where I'm just making practice laps of Lernerville and I'm so bad, like I just like send myself off the backstretch. Like I just can't.
Yeah, that's okay. I have a good segue into that. I honestly didn't know that you did iRacing, but would you say, and I don't know, I'm assuming that you might have tried the sprints and stuff on there. Would you say the sprints on iRacing drive any bit like a real sprint car?
Like they will stand that iRacing is just like Kyle Larson. Like iRacing is just like if you want to be good at racing, you have to try iRacing. And my dad has won a million times at Lernerville sprint car. He put the setup on in the sprint car on iRacing, ran it at Lernerville, and it was terrible. He can't do it, and I can't do it. I really don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
It's just not the same at all to me.
I I think honestly, the best thing that you can pull from iRacing as someone that races, like in real life, is just the ability to miss wrecks and miss idiots. I think it's seriously the only skill you can gain.
Or
I don't think a lot of it transfers. I think it depends. I don't know. I think it depends on your division, honestly, too. Because that was another thing
yeah,
when we had Ben Easler on here. He said the modifieds on iRacing drove exactly or very similar to how they drove on there. So I don't know. I think it depends, honestly. But
I'm driven
yeah,
drive a modified in iRacing. You put me in a sprint car and like it's really. I even tried driving a wingless, and it
yeah,
was also really like it's embarrassingly bad.
yeah. Those things are out of control on iRacing. I bought them and I turned like 10 laps with them and I never touched them again. Yeah, I can't handle them. Okay, Chase, go ahead.
Sam, if you had to describe your driving style in one or two words, how would you describe it?
Um, Depends on the night.
Yeah.
Depends on the night.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself a more aggressive driver, or are you more conservative where you're kind of just hanging in there and making sure you're making the laps, or are you constantly looking for gaps and you're trying to move up?
I feel like I try to look for gaps a lot, and I try to. Some of the decisions I've made have been like a little iffy. But I consider myself aggressive on some nights, and there's other nights I'm just
Yeah. It depends,
not
right?
there.
It depends on the show.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely a good mindset. Like, I think that's what needs to be preached to younger drivers. Like, because I think there's nights where it totally calls for like, okay, like this is a night where I'm gonna try to make something happen, and then if it's a like bigger show where it's just like it would be good to like finish the race, then it's like okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make sure I make all the laps and keep my nose clean type situation.
One of our goals in the rush car this year was like we wanted to run like the higher profile races just to like, get my name out there and stuff. And like this past weekend, the Outlaws was supposed to be at Sharon, and we were going to run. My rush car was there for like the support series, and I was going to run that because I just want to get my name out there. And in September, the high limit in USAC is at Waterville, and we're their support division. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be really
Yeah.
cool. That'll be super cool.
You haven't raced yet this year, right?
No, not with this weather.
I didn't
Awful.
think so,
Awful.
but I
That's
just wanted to double check.
yeah.
Ridiculous. And I am sick of it already. I think Chase has been to a couple of races all over the place. He's going like 3 hours away.
Three
to,
so
like,
far.
yeah, he's going to all these places I've never even heard of. And it's like, okay, I'm starting to get a little jealous. But you guys just talked about, expectations and stuff. I want to ask what in both divisions as a whole, where I guess kind of for both classes, what aspirations, what do you have? What do you want to see yourself accomplish in both respective divisions at the end of the year?
My goal this year in the rush car is to get at least one win because then I get an MPI steering wheel and I really want an MPI steering wheel. So that's my goal is I want one rank win before I leave the rush division. But there are a lot of talented drivers in the rush division, so it's gonna be hard. In my 305, I want to get seat time. Obviously like placing up front would be really nice, but I just want to get seat time and learn how to drive a win car. And also learn how to adapt to like double duty with both cars since they drive so different.
Yeah, I'm certain that'll be pretty cool though, being able to do both and stuff, because I'm sure it's going to make you a better driver, I would think, because you're going to be swapping back and forth. It's going to make you more versatile. That's always a good trait, I think, to have as a driver. It kind of gives you that Kyle Larson aspect, being able to jump in different vehicles and go. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Chase, you go ahead because I'm going to ask a funny one after this.
Sam, what drives you after a bad night of racing? Say you wreck out or have a bad finish. What drives you to keep working and get back in the shop and keep going to the track?
One of my like crazy goals at the end of like my career before I retire, I want to travel with the Outlaws, obviously, and there's obviously not that many women who do that necessarily. So I know like I'm gonna have to learn how to work on the car, and I'm gonna have to learn how to fix certain things, and that's just what keeps me going. Because like I said, like I'm that good right now, and I already have people coming up to me telling me like I inspired them to start racing, and like that's just if I can do that at the level I am now, I can do that at a much higher level in 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, that's a really cool goal. I think you can never learn enough. I don't think you could ever learn enough as a driver, and I think that's a really good mindset to have. So that's super cool. This is probably my second favorite question. Do you have actually, I'm going to use another one to transfer off this. Do you have any like pre-race rituals or anything?
I do. I have a necklace I wear that's a sprint car. It has my number on it. I don't think I've ever gone a sprint car race without wearing that necklace. And I went one time, I wrecked out. I got a flat tire. Like I cannot race without my necklace. I have a prayer that's on the inside of my car that I say. I always pray before a race. And I have like a little like a cross in my pocket that like you can like rub your thumb on it. And like before I get in my car, I always like rub my thumb on my cross and say my prayer before I go out.
That's really cool. Okay. So I'm going to transfer to this one. Do you have any hype up music? And like, what do you listen to that gets you fired up before you take the track?
I honestly think I have the most like versatile playlist ever. Like I will like one song, it'll be like Drake, and then the next song will be Keith Whitley. So it's really just like but I'm a big like old country fan, like these 90s country. That always gets me.
Yeah, that's super cool. We've got some funny answers on that one before, so I always like to ask that one. Chase, you go ahead.
Okay. Here's my funny one. Okay. Are you ready? You got to pay attention to this one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Would you rather win one race but finish outside of the top 10 in every other race, or consistently finish in the top 5 but never win a race this season?
So being that I did that last year, I'll pick the second one.
The second one?
The second one.
Okay.
Because I think I've experienced both, especially my go-kart days. And it was just like really unmotivating to win one race, be a one-hit wonder, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
We kind of touched on this with the go-karts. And I think we briefly talked about it, but I kind of want to bring it up. Going from, the sprint car to the rush sprint car to the 305. Obviously, we talked about how it's a winged car. It's different. Has there been anything from that, the rush sprint car, that you've been able to bring over to the 305 at all?
Yeah, I think honestly, like being that it's a wingless car, there's a lot of counter steering. You want to be when you're in the middle of the corner, you want to be like looking into the infield, then looking to your right, and then like that's how you want to drive it. And like it's not like that at all in the 305, but there's a lot of counter steering that you don't see because of how straight the car is with the wing on it. And I think if I had just hopped from a go kart to a 305, one, I'd be scared to death, and two, I don't think I'd have that like counter steering, I guess, ability
Yeah.
that I learned through wingless car.
Yeah. So the seat times definitely benefited. Yeah.
Mhm.
Super cool.
And just like sprint car, I guess like don't pass this person here. Watch out for the infield tractor tires. Like I guess like stuff like don't touch this person. You're driving an open wheel car. Like that's like stuff like that really just obviously it carries over in any car, but
Yeah. Well, I would definitely agree for the open wheel stuff. Like contacts and no. Like that's why I've never had an interest. Like, I don't know. That's a little bit intimidating to me. It's just the concept that it takes even the slightest bit of contact and then you're doing front flips and not
yeah.
ideal.
I'll kind of switch gears here and then we'll come back to my last question at the end because I feel like it's a good wrap up one. So I've seen that you've kind of dabbled in some graphic design kind of stuff. I just kind of wanted to ask what kind of sparked your interest, what kind of got you into that and everything.
I had like a few friends do it for me originally, and then they started charging, and I'm like, well, I'm unemployed and broke, so I need to figure out how to do this on my own. And then I kind of started getting good at it, and I'm like, wait, I can charge people for this too, and then I'll still be unemployed, but I won't be broke. So then I started at it, and then now I have a couple people who come to me weekly for it, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So are you going to continue to try to build that up?
Yeah, I think like if I really want to be like my end goal, like career wise, obviously if racing doesn't work out, I don't want to like leave the racing community completely. Like I do want to have like a role in social media because like I'm a teenager, I'm obviously on it a lot. So like I want to do stuff like that, like study social media management and like graphic design and stuff. Go to college for that stuff. So
Tell you what, there's definitely room for it.
Social media is a big thing, I think, for like just up and coming drivers and stuff. I think it's pretty important to have an outlet there. I think you see that with a lot of like, I don't know, there's some guys that do it like to a certain point that I think is like Jeremy Weaver, I think is a good example. He's on his social media all the time. He's always posting funny videos and stuff, and people can interact with that and they find it entertaining. I look at that as like, that's a great example of how to like use your social media in racing. So I think it's super important. I think that stuff's a big deal. You haven't had the race there, but what is your favorite track, I guess, just in general, like a track you maybe haven't raced at or that you have raced at?
my favorite track that I have raced at is definitely Pittsburgh. I know like it's very controversial. Like everyone hates Pittsburgh. Like it's big, it's fast. Like I think last year in a rush car, I went 107 miles per hour, and that's pretty fast for a rush car. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun there. Yeah, my favorite track I haven't raced at. So when we go to Knoxville or when we go to Charlotte for World Finals, I really like to see like all my friends and stuff who live like in different states and stuff. Like I really enjoy that. And then like on top of that, we can like bond over stuff. That's like definitely my favorite.
Yeah. Chase, are you out now of questions?
I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Sam, if a girl walked up to you, a little girl walked up to you right now, what would you say to her about getting into racing?
Would tell her to buy a go-kart, obviously, first. Like, it's just if you wanted to race, buy a go-kart. Yeah, I feel like that would really be it, and tell her that if she wanted any help with anything, I would always be like, message me on some type of platform, and I'd always love to help out, and as much as to the best of my ability, I'd love to help out.
Yeah. So closing out, this is kind of our closer question. Sam, who do you wanna thank so far thus far in your racing career? Any sponsors or anyone that's played a big role in your career?
I obviously want to thank my parents because like I wouldn't be doing any of this without my mom, my dad, my grandparents. They play a big part, and I want to thank Greg and Logan from Bill McCandless Ford, Cindy and Skippy from Moore's Auto Body, Travis Harry from Less Friction and Travis Harry Racing Engines because he builds my ticket. Joel from Close Racing Supply. Bill Bailey helps us out a lot, especially when I crash. He makes sure to hook us up with some good parts. And Vicky from Rush for just putting on the whole Rush.
That's awesome. I think you're one of the first drivers that's actually went down and cited like probably almost all their sponsors. So I don't think we've really had that happen before. So, but okay, that's all we got for you. So thank you so much, Sam, for coming on. I know Chase and I will be watching and rooting for you as the season goes about. We hope everything goes great in the 305 and you get that first win in the Rush cars. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to interview you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Get us to 100 subscribers. And yeah, if you have any ideas for a guest that you want us to interview next, let us know. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.